Welcome to the design document guideline series. Now, in this lecture, we are going to talk about how do we capture the NFR, that is non-functional requirements in your design document. There would be a separate document defining the overall NFRs. Okay, before that, what is NFR? NFRs are the requirements, right, which are not related to the functional objective of the project, but these are more or less related to the overall system performance, the system's stability, right? Anything related to the technology aspect of the system. And there might be some documents provided by the different stakeholders. It can be the production support teams, or it can be the business users also, who might give you the SLAs of achieving some targets, or the daily ETL targets, and how much time it should complete, right? So those things are the NFRs. In some projects, I've seen NFRs are very clearly defined. In some projects, I've seen that these are not defined, but over the period of time it becomes very important. So when you're working on the design document, do have a dedicated section for this, so that even if there are no NFRs at that stage, at least that discussions will get initiated, and you can start capturing these details. So some of the important NFRs to be considered are, like, the very first would be the SLAs. SLAs are the service level agreements. To give an example, let's say you are running an ETL on a daily basis. It's a daily job. These are not micro batches, and the reports have to be this ETL. Loads the data into a target table, and then some reports, regulatory reports, are run on top of this, and the reports have to be ready before the business comes in the morning 9 o'clock. So the SLAs, right? It would be like, if you get all the ETL files by in the night time by 2 a.m. So between 2 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? ETL should complete. It should load the data. So these would be the SLAs, and these are sometimes well defined, because why you need this, right? If the source system sends you the files after 2 o'clock, right? If they delay in sending this file, the overall targets will not be achieved, right? It will impact the overall system. So it is important to have SLAs at various levels and for the various teams. So ensure that all these things are captured. And what happens if SLA is not met, right? So what are the consequences? Um, uh, which all teams needs to be notified, right? If there is a delay in the source file, and if you don't get the file on time, if the ETL doesn't complete on time, so it will impact the downstream application. So there would be some reports which will be generated um, uh, later in the day, right? If he was supposed to complete it by 9 a.m., but then it completes at 12 o'clock, is that okay? And then who has to be notified? There would be certain users who would be waiting for this report. So all these things should be captured in this section. Similarly, it is for the source systems also. Like I talked about, if the source system delays the files, what happens, right? Then your team, right, the data platform team, should also have the point of contact from the source system, who should be contacted in such cases. Again, is there any mechanism in place so that the source system can notify you in case of delays? There can be situations where you're, let's say, running micro batches, an hourly micro batch, and at a particular point of time, let's say you have executed a file in the morning at 9 o'clock, but the 10 a.m. file is delayed, and it's already 11 o'clock. So what happens? Would you get both the files together combined, or you will get only one file? So what happens in such cases, right? It has to be, all these things should be defined, and there should be a proper design in place to process these things. A few other things are like noting down the system schedule, right? What is the schedule interval of your ETL jobs that needs to be executed? Should it be executed at you know uh, on every working day, or it has to be executed on every calendar day? Is there any holiday calendar which has already been provided? Do you need to consider that? So all these things are going to tell you. So people who are going to orchestrate the system, create the schedules, they'll need all these details. And then finally, another important point that I would suggest is also document some of the existing system challenges and issues. There might be some known issues related to performance, timings, and all. Since again this is the section related to NFRs, we'll only talk about that. There might be other challenges related to data quality and all, but that would be more of a part of the functional requirements. In NFRs, it would be let's say the time duration. So you're moving from a system which was built using some traditional technologies, and now you are using cloud technologies, right? The modern data stack. So it would be expected, right, if the existing system, on-prem system, traditional system is taking like say 10 hours to process, your new system should be completed within 20, 25, 30% of the time. So just check if there was any such challenges, and if there is any particular objective that you need to achieve, because then your cluster planning, right, the horizontal scaling, the number of worker nodes and all has to be decided based on that. So yeah, this was a quick lecture about NFRs. Very important to document it, mainly because most of the time I've seen that we don't really focus on this during design phase or even implementation phase, and we'll only get to know about it during the performance testing phase, and it will be too late in the game. So it's better that you document it. You may not get all the answers to your questions as an architect, but at least you will have a placeholder for these things, and then you can come back and later fill these details here.